There is so much to discuss with what's happening with Australia and the announcements that we have heard for the Champions Trophy. Because
that's not a team right now. That's at the moment, Australia is a hospital ward. It's not a team.
Yeah,
you look
because
out there,
it's
one after
down.
the other, the beds are getting filled up.
So 4 down, because I think Cummins has been ruled out, Hazlewood has been ruled out, Mitch Marsh has been ruled out, and then Stoinis goes and announces his retirement. But this is what George Bailey has to say. Unfortunately, Pat, Josh and Mitch are managing some ongoing injuries and haven't come up in time for the Champions Trophy. While disappointing, it does present a great opportunity for other players to perform for Australia in a world event.
I'm so surprised. I am so surprised that 3 Australian players have decided just before a big IPL where they're going to make a lot of money that they don't want to risk getting another injury playing out there. Look, the truth is, we think that money is big for Indian players in IPL. For other countries, other players, it's even bigger because the sponsorship outside of just a tournament like the IPL is not very much in other countries in the world, okay? So for them, even if you're carrying a little bit of a niggle and the chance of, getting injured in the Champions Trophy and not being able to play the IPL, it's a huge payday for them. So anyone with even a 10-15% chance, if it's a 50-50 call, you can bet they're not going to play and take the chance. And let me tell you, at some basic level, even the Australian selectors understand they're not going to take that chance.
But even for a Champions Trophy, I mean, it's a ICC big...
I mean, it's not a World Cup. I mean, you look at it that way, they look at it the Champions Trophy, World Cup. It's so close to the IPL. I don't think, as I said, for a lot of these players, IPL is life-changing for them.
And also, I think Ashes will be played...
yes, later in the year.
Later in the year.
Yeah. Ashes is also a big...
Yeah.
They will...
So I think this is just a management from looking at the FTP and, figuring it out exactly, finding that window of making sure that you're not missing the major tournaments which they feel for their board is important.
Yeah, but Zach, when there's no Cummins, it's a good sign for India. Let's say it's... no batter wants to face a Pat Cummins, especially Cummins, the captain, has been so good for Australia.
But also, you look at when you're talking about Cummins, the 5-test series is never easy series for any bowler to complete that way. And he has put in a lot in that series. You could make out. Plus captaining the side, it's just going to have its added pressures. So there's a lot to be managed. And when you're playing against India, you know that the importance of the series was so high. So considering all those things, maybe just a well-calculated time off from the game to give priorities to certain things is how I would analyze.
Well, but another shocking announcement was from Stoinis because he was in the Champions Trophy squad, and then there was just this sudden bombshell of him not playing. Playing ODI cricket for Australia has been an incredible journey. This wasn't an easy decision, but it was the right time for me to step away from ODI cricket.
I think this one is the one that I have a problem with because obviously he's fit. If he's been announced, means he's declared himself available before that, or he's not declared himself unavailable. So I think this is a bit of a shock for the board as well, and I think Marcus Stoinis should have thought this through. If he did not want to play it, perhaps a call made a little earlier, 15 days, 20 days for his board to consider would have been better. I think under these, there's something there, we don't know what suddenly changed, we don't know what the situation is, but I mean, I think this one was something I can very much understand, even a slight niggle to manage Pat Cummins, Hazlewood, but this one seems a bit strange, and I don't think it's good for Australian cricket. It's something that's put them into an awkward position.
Well, let's just have a look at the squad that Australia had announced for the Champions Trophy because there are a lot of Reds there. So one is captaincy Zach. There's discussion that Steve Smith could put his hand up for captaincy again.
Or Australia might go in forward direction. So that's something that's the call for the selectors to make. Maybe it's so last minute that they might go to Steve Smith, which is a safer call. Someone who is experienced, someone who knows exactly how to handle things. Maybe that will be the discussion out there. But batting wise, pretty much most of the things are set. I think all-rounders is something which they will look at. So that will be the discussion to have that balance because you have 4 all-rounders, of that 2 are gone now. So that is a big hole there in terms of achieving that balance which they've been achieving in the playing 11.
Bo Webster, who do you think could come in? Because
Look, Bo Webster plays a lot of T20 around the world. He's a decent player. They already rate him. They've got him into. He's already played this thing. He's played test matches. So I think definitely he's one of the guys that they'll be looking at very, very seriously. I think Bo Webster definitely gets a play in. I'll be interested in seeing who the fast bowlers are because, Nathan Ellis is already there. So that doesn't leave too many other bowlers out there who they're looking at. So it'll be interesting to see who the fast bowlers they bring out.
I think they have Spencer Johnson as an option, but they still have to fill in 3 more names. Richardson, Spencer Johnson.
Yeah, Jai Richardson is definitely
Ben
an
Doshie's have been around for them. Lance Morris maybe, So those are the names I think they'll be considering for sure.